It had been 500 days since they had left the familiar flatlands of Earth. 500 days since they had embarked on a voyage of discovery, a mission to take mankind to the edge of the known universe. Earth had been ruled by a multinational conglomerate of corporations that treated the citizens like mere commodities, and the five of them had been eager for something new, something exciting. The five of them, Rachel, John, Sam, Tom, and Albert, had formed a family, however strange the circumstances. And the trip had allowed them time to learn more about each other's quirks and interests. They had all been chosen based on their intelligence and strength of character. Such traits would serve them well on their mission to explore the unknown. They had arrived on Mars 2 weeks earlier and had been living in the cramped dig site while they studied the planet. All the while, they were surrounded by the rugged landscape, more alien than anything they'd seen before. Red mesas, jagged rocks, and strange, robotic structures dotted the landscape around them. It was late one night and the five of them were in the base, the lights switched off to save power. The air was dead, airless and thick, the only sound was their own breathing. Suddenly, an idea burst into Rachel's head. "Hey," she called out. "Let's go explore." John, Sam, Tom, and Albert readily agreed. After all, this exploration was what they had come to Mars for. Each of them was eager and full of anticipation, but also a little scared of the unknown. Nevertheless, they all clambered out of the site and started walking, looking for the first glimpse of something new and different. The landscape around them was a mix of the familiar and the strange. There were dark, craggy rocks, patches of red soil, and jagged rocks that reminded them of Earth. Then, there were the odd, cylindrical bots with no visible functions that scuttled across the terrain. Above them all, the sky shone a deep, vibrant purple that they had never seen before. They trudged on, stumbling occasionally in the low light, but eventually they found an area away from the hubbub of the dig site. Here, amongst the rocks and the dust, they found something extraordinary, a large boulder standing in the middle of a flat expanse with a shallow pool of water at its base. All five of them stood in rapt silence, looking at the boulder, transfixed. It seemed to be offering them a promise of something special. Rachel was the first to move, walking cautiously towards the rock and then nervously reaching out her hand to touch it. It was cool to the touch and her fingers lingered on its smooth surface for a moment, absorbing its energy. Suddenly, as if activated by her touch, the rock began to glow with a brilliant pinkish-white light. In the center of the boulder, a hidden mechanism or hatch opened. Rachel peered inside and saw a glowing chamber, pulsating with energy. John, Sam, Tom, and Albert moved forward and pressed their palms against the rock. One by one, they felt the same pulsing warmth that Rachel had experienced. It felt like a spark of electricity, yet gentle and inviting. Slowly and intently, they all stepped inside the chamber. As they did, the walls began to close in on them, and they were enveloped in a warm amber light. They felt weightless and free, as if they had been transported from Mars to some place else entirely. The five of them lay in the chamber for a long time, not speaking, feeling the energy swirling around them as if it were caressing every inch of their skin. The molten heat became more and more intense, lulling their senses and turning the chamber into a place of pleasure, beyond anything they had ever known before. Time seemed to melt away, and soon they were no longer five individuals, but rather one single being, a fusion of the energies they had encountered in the chamber. They felt connected to each other, connected to the planet and to the universe. In that moment, they became one with Mars and they explored the depths of pleasure and passion, yearned for one another's touch, satisfied each other in a way they'd never imagined was possible. Through it all, they savored the heat and the energy between them, connecting deeply and profoundly. Finally, in the early morning hours, when the distant sun was just peeking over the horizon, the five of them emerged from the chamber. In the days that followed, they continued their exploration of Mars, but each time, their thoughts brought them back to the sacred place of warmth and pleasure that had changed them forever. Like and subscribe for more from our channel.